What's up, guys? Probably a little bit of a shorter video today. I just kind of came across something, well, not just, but it was kind of popping up yesterday from a couple different people, and it really seemed like it just like blew up out of nowhere and was hitting a couple different creators in a really big way. So I decided I would talk about it, maybe explain a little bit of what's going on so that, you know, people have a better idea. And I've talked about stuff like this before, and we're going to be talking about like the YouTube copyright content ID system and how it's probably just gonna continue getting worse, and just maybe, you know, a little bit of advice on the matter. So yesterday, a YouTuber named Mumbo Jumbo, who has about 3 million subscribers on YouTube, started posting on Twitter saying that he had received upwards of 400 copyright claims on his videos from a company called Warner Chappell. I've heard them pronounced different ways. If that sounds familiar to you, if you guys remember that whole, there's the guy who was making those Star Wars side project movies, and he got permission from Disney and Lucasfilm to do it, and he just wasn't allowed using like music from the movies, and he wasn't allowed making any money off of the movies. And that was the Vader series that was made by Star Wars Theory, which is another very large YouTube channel. But I remember that after it got released, that video also started getting claimed by Warner Chappell for music used in it, because it sampled part of a Star Wars song, even though he had the song basically rearranged from that original song. Warner Chappell owns the rights to that music now, I guess, but the whole thing ended up getting solved when Lucasfilm was like, no, we made a deal with this guy, so if he can't make money off of it, you can't claim the monetization. I still think that was kind of like a weird situation, but if you've heard the name before, that's where you've heard it. They're definitely, they've popped up a few other times since then as well. Not quite as much as UMG has in terms of these like mass copyright claims, but they are one of those names that has popped up quite a bit. And so they claimed about 400 videos from Mumbo Jumbo. And it did the same thing that happened when I made my Everybody's Lying About Not Knowing Queen video. And it basically, the copyright claim you end up getting on the video is you may have used music that we own the copyright to in this video. It doesn't say like this, we caught the ID from like this section to this section. It's in this video, you may have used music that we own the rights to, which is just kind of like a crappy way to do it, because that's their automated system. That 100% comes down to the automated copyright system. So basically the bots are just like, we're finding something, and though no one is manually checking it, we're just gonna say, you know, sometimes it's even just based on the title. Like you're not putting enough in the video for it to get caught by anything, but based on titles, based on just like what your tags are, they can claim it. And then it's up to you to dispute it, and then hopefully somebody will actually watch the video and then determine, yes, you did use 0.2 milliseconds of our song and we're gonna hold the claim, or, you know, no, you didn't, we were wrong, and we won't. So basically what happens in these situations is that you end up sharing ownership of the videos. So they take half the revenue, you take half the revenue, and it doesn't matter if your video is like 10 minutes long and you use, you know, 25 seconds of something that they have a content ID match for. They don't take like 0.25% of the video, they get the straight 50% of the video, which is where it's really confusing. I think when they originally unveiled that this was going to be possible, people thought it would be percentage-based. So if it's like a compilation video with a clip of, say, like Ninja, and it's not transformative in nature, and it's just one of these mass clip videos where they just put a bunch of things together. If you use, you know, Ninja from like 1 minute, 20 seconds to, you know, 2 minutes and 20 seconds in a 10-minute video, you're like, okay, well, I make up, you know, 10% of that video. I want 10% of the revenue. That's what people kind of thought it was going to be, and it's not exactly working out that way. And again, the bots can just really abuse the system. But this situation is a little bit rough. And another YouTuber, actually, Jake or Dalmid, who's the guy who does a lot of, he'll do like scuba diving things, and he'll, you know, cleaning up, you know, local like lakes and different things like that. Really cool channel, actually. He's since deleted it, so I don't know if he got like further information where it's just, you know, he feels like he wants to like save it for a video, or it's being dealt with or something. But it was the same thing of him. He got a rash of mass copyright claims put against his content. I can't read any of his tweets right now. The most he did was he commented to Mumbo Jumbo recently saying, same thing happened to me. And other people are like, why did you delete your tweets about it? Because he commented that after the fact. So I don't really know what happened in his situation, if he got more answers and decided to delete it, or if it's similar to this. But basically, what ended up happening is Mumbo Jumbo, in his videos, has the permission of a song creator to use that guy's songs in his videos. He has written permission, And, that happens with a lot of YouTubers. They get permission from certain artists. They use it as outro songs or just transition songs, vlog songs, different things like that. And the issue that ended up happening here, that he finally found out after like hours, after a while, he said, update, things are a bit muddy. I do have permission from the artist to use the claimed song. However, the song uses a sample that has been picked up by Warner's Content ID bot. So I'm being claimed for a sample, not the song. So he's still hoping they can resolve it, obviously, and I do still think it's an abuse of that copyright ID system. But this is where things can get really tricky on YouTube, especially considering I think somebody actually looked into it and said the person that he sampled the songs from is okay with the fact that he sampled the song, and the license holder of that music is also okay with samples being done. But I don't know if Warner Chappell just kind of like absorbed more properties, because that happens a lot of the time. Like these larger companies will, absorb smaller companies, and then it becomes their ownership to do with what they want, and it can kind of get a little bit confusing. And they've recently posted, today crowns the beginning of a new era for Warner Chappell Music. Our new logo and brand identity are a tribute to our songwriters and all their diversity and the personal art of songwriting. So that was on the 13th of May that they posted that. So there is a chance that they have kind of a lot of new stuff going on there that's contributing to these mass automatic flag systems going out. And that's why it's tricky and maybe not as cut clean as some of the other situations where people, get false flagged. It's going to take a lot of proving to say, hey, here's all the different steps that every person involved in this went to make sure they had the rights to do what they're doing. And can you please remove them? I've seen some guy posting on his video saying that he knows the person who's in charge of the YouTube copyright claims for Warner Chappell, and even they said that it was wrong, but there wasn't really anything they can do about it, which isn't true. Everybody can have those bots that automatically claims things, but if, people can manually remove those claims. But this is kind of where there's a potential lesson for people that are YouTubers, no matter how large you are, no matter how much permission you think you have for certain things. It's probably just better not to use music that isn't like specifically on the YouTube music library or the audio library that they have made available, because you see stories like this that happen a lot, where even sometimes you'll have artists that start small, not on a label, make free songs available for people to use, and then they actually get picked up by a larger company, and then all of the things that they've done, their entire library is now owned by that larger company, and then that puts you at risk for being copyright striked, even if you had permission to use the songs before, or if you had paid for licensing in the past. I'm not saying that you wouldn't win the disputes if you put it out there and explain the situation. It's just that it could cause you quite the bit of a headache. And if you are going to do stuff like that, I would recommend not using the same songs for multiple videos. That's kind of why I don't have an outro song. Maybe I'll make one myself someday. I'm not good at writing songs. I can kind of sing. Maybe I'll do a joint venture with someone. I don't know, but it's just really almost not worth it to use a song that you don't 100% know that it is yours. And even if you think it's yours, but if somebody else made it, it's almost not worth it, especially if you're using it for outro music in multiple videos or in all your videos, because if one thing gets claimed, everything's going to get claimed. And if you can't resolve one dispute, you're not going to be able to resolve any disputes. And it could be a huge headache. Your channel could actually be terminated depending on how intense they want to be with the copyright claiming. Usually they just want the monetization though, which is like a double-edged thing. It sucks that they want the monetization, but it doesn't really put your channel in danger. Like that happens to me every now and again. Like I used to make a lot of vlogs, and I'll probably do it again someday, but for the in-between music and stuff, sometimes you use something and somebody's like, actually, I have the rights to this, and I dispute them sometimes, and a lot of times I win because it's people just talking out their ass. One of the greatest things that happens sometimes is that you use a song that's licensing free, like it's royalty free, you can use it, and then some other like rap artist or a singer takes the song and then sings over it, and then their company then issues the copyright strike to you, even though they don't own it. That's always really fun. I've had to deal with that a couple times. And that's why this whole system is really, really iffy. And I know it's pretty commonplace that people want to say, hey, this needs to be worked on. It definitely does need to be worked on, but just to protect yourself, I really would strongly urge you not to use songs that you don't 100% know that you own, and you can't verify that everything in that song is the person who made it, especially if it involves things like sampling or beats. If anything in the song sounds familiar, you should probably not use it. And again, don't use the same songs unless, again, it's on the YouTube audio library or you made it yourself, or you maybe commissioned somebody to make it for you. And even then, there was a guy who did have that happen to him. He literally commissioned a song to be made, and it got striked on his channel, and it was his outro song, and it caused a huge issue. So I just kind of wanted to explain that situation here for some people who might have seen it. Hopefully for Mumbo's sake, they stop where they're at and it doesn't go any further than what they've already done. I think they said that it's about 25% of his videos are claimed right now, which is wild. He's gonna literally be spending an entire day countering all of those copyrights, because unlike the issuers, there's no automatic script just to counter every single copyright claim that's been put against you, even if it's all for the same song and all for the same reason. So that is an entire day of him just trying to solve this, and then waiting up to 30 days for them to make the decision, while the money of those videos just kind of sits in a pot. And for people like me, that this isn't a full-time job, it's not the biggest deal. But if this is your career and this is what you rely on to pay the bills, that could really suck. That could really affect your life. It just takes one month of this to completely stifle your income, even if you do have some outside sources of revenue, which I always recommend people have, like, make merch, try to get brand deals, stuff like that. But it's scary. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to put that out there. Obviously, the YouTube copyright ID system has a lot of problems. I've talked about it multiple times. A lot of other people have talked about it. You've got people that are abusing takedown abilities, like Onision right now, with like anybody who talks out about him, especially against Mr. Repsion. And then you have these large companies here just mass flagging all sorts of stuff and just reaping revenue in areas that they probably shouldn't be able to. But that's gonna do it for today's video. Really quickly though, thank you all so much for getting me to 25,000 subscribers. I didn't necessarily think I'd ever get to this point. I really would someday love to have the 100K plaque. I know we are a long way off, but it's just one of those things. It feels like, the more we get, the easier it seems. And so maybe someday we'll get there, maybe someday we won't. And thank you for all the concern the other day about my migraine. That specific day, I got a lot of different advice, a lot of different tips. That day was very specifically weather related, so there wasn't really anything I could do about it. But luckily, I managed to catch it kind of early enough and took care of myself, and I got this head balm stuff that I use that really helps. So it was like a few hours of just kind of like laying in a dark room, and then it got better for the evening. So thank you for all your concern. Thanks again for 25,000 subscribers. I might do a live stream here in the coming week just in honor of 25K, just to kind of, do a Q&A, talk to you guys. But otherwise, if you didn't know, I do stream on Twitch almost every single day. So if you have a Twitch account, feel free to check me out over there. It's Amanda the Jedi. I have, Twitter, Instagram, all that good kind of stuff that I frequently forget to plug. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Have a fantastic day, and we'll catch you all later.